Hi, I'm Tinny from Windmill Design, and it's 2:20 right now. I started out this morning and most of the day yesterday to try to get caught up on all my orders that I have, and as of 2:20 I have everything built, and tomorrow it'll be shipped out. I was only 2 or 3 days behind, but that's an enormous amount of work. I was just out, looked at my windmill, was getting a light wind out of the northeast. And I was just sitting there admiring the windmill. It's a beautiful piece of equipment. Hugh Pigott designed it. Smart guy. I'm a real admirer of somebody who builds something simple that works as well as the complicated things that were before it. For example, that windmill has an off-center pivot on the tail, on an eccentric. Just simply, it's not even really an eccentric, it's just the tail is set this way so that when it turns it has to go uphill, so it creates a load on the windmill. So if the wind blows too hard, it simply tilts the tail and the windmill folds away from the wind to save itself so it won't over rev. That replaced a device that used to be on a lot of windmills that had a drum with brake shoes in it and a set of weights, and they got spinning too fast, the weights would come out and turn the brake shoes on, and there was springs, and it's a horror show. But Hugh Pigott put this tail design on. It's like one moving part. Works better than the brake system. Nothing to wear out. The whole thing is designed that way. There's really very few moving parts on it. It just has 5 rectifiers and I think like 24 magnets and a couple of discs, 10 windings. Very, very simple, and it works great. And since there's nothing to wear out, it basically lasts forever. I've had it down 2 or 3 times to repair stuff that I just didn't build correctly when I was following his plans. I either was in too much of a hurry or didn't have quite the right material, but I've since taken it down as I've seen things wear and replaced them and done it exactly, well, not exactly, but close to the way the plans called for, and it's a marvelous design. Sits right there and cranks out power day in and day out. Has more than enough power to run my shop here. I actually, lots of days, I'll just turn a light on or something just to drain some power off because the batteries are right at peak. I've got an electronic box that comes on and keeps them from overcharging, but I'd rather use the power for something else if I possibly could. You can see here I'm just going to sit here and talk for a while. So I just ordered a new water filter. It's a MSR Hyperflow. I've got it right here. It's hollow fiber technology. It's only about 1/3 the size of my Mini Works, and it pumps 3 times as much water per stroke. I would assume it does that because whatever this hollow fiber technology is, evidently it allows a lot more water through and has a lot less resistance than the ceramic filter. The ceramic filter was a major breakthrough, but if I could find any fault with the Mini Works, is you don't get much water per pump. You only get about 1 liter a minute under ideal conditions, so it does take a fair amount of pumping. Of course, if you don't need much more than 1 liter of water, a minute's not that big a deal, but it is kind of stingy on how much water it runs through it. And the second thing is, being an ultralight backpacker, is the Mini Works is kind of bulky. It's bulky and heavy. Not so much as a lot of previous designs, and that's the price I paid for having something that was field maintainable and cleanable and just bulletproof. But I think this Hyperflow is going to be a lot better filter, just the next generation. You've probably noticed that ultralight equipment takes advantage of the latest state-of-the-art technology. If some material comes out that's lighter or stronger, you'll see it in ultralight backpacking almost every time. It's just it's an amazing sport, and if it keeps up, someday your backpack is going to weigh like under a pound. Is probably someday you'll have everything you need, including a tent, water filter, and everything to hike for a week, and it's going to weigh sub 1 pound. It's bound to go there. It might take another 50 years, but it's just, if people still backpack 50 years from now. But it's just amazing how the technology keeps shaving things down, just going to titanium and the alcohol stoves. that replaced the the gas stove. It's just amazing. Even the water filters, everything is just, and not only are things getting lighter, things that weren't even available before are now available. Things that, like the ultralight tents. Before, everybody was, when they finally come out with the sill nylon tarps, we thought that was a major breakthrough. And people were sleeping just under tarps, just using some paracord to tie them down. But with the sub 2-pound tent now, tarps are kind of overweight and out of date, because why sleep under a tarp when you can sleep in a fully enclosed tent with a roof on it and flies and vegetables and no-see-um bug netting and flooring and everything? It's actually lighter than a lot of tarps are, so it's just amazing. I really just sit back here and hope I live to be 150 so I can just see all these different technologies unfold. And this hollow fiber technology will probably in a year or two be replaced by something even more fantastic. On the other hand, there are some technologies out there that, although save you a lot of weight, they just they're too narrow. They don't work in enough conditions to really make them be feasible for the backpacker. I like technology and I love simplicity and I love small things, but if it doesn't work well and if it's a potential to cause you problems, I don't carry it, regardless of how neat it is. Or I'll carry a backup, in case it blows out, which really defeats the purpose. Those ultraviolet lights and those water shock things, that's the type of technology that, under ideal conditions, if you was hiking somewhere where you could get some fairly clear water, glacier water, or really clear lake water, or really clear river water, probably in Alaska, that would be the ideal thing to have, because if you could get the water clear to begin with, you could shock it or zap it with that ultraviolet and it would be ideal. If I lived in Alaska and I was going to be getting water that when I scooped it up was crystal clear, and I just wanted that extra protection to make sure it didn't have anything in it, I'd definitely use one of those ultraviolet filters or SteriPens or whatever, but or the Minox setup. But where I hike, it's not feasible because the water's just not that good. The water's pretty nasty. You're usually getting it out of some swamp hole or something. Maine's got a lot of water. It just most of it where I hike back in the woods is murky. So that's I think this hollow fiber system will work well for me, and it's 0.2 microns, which I'm really happy with, and it's field cleanable. You can clean it over and over again. I don't really understand or know what it looks like when I get it. I'm going to completely do a test on it and then tear it down and do a video exactly, read all up on it, get used to it, then do a video going right through it like I did with the mini works. So you'll know everything about it when I get done. Hopefully I'll know everything about it first. But I'm Tinny from Mini Bull Design. Get out and hike. Take a friend. Use your equipment and enjoy your equipment. It's fun stuff, and enjoy your friends. And above and beyond anything, have a great day. Bye-bye.